In this video, I'm building popular horror movies in LEGO and will tell you the story of a LEGO minifigure watching movies at home and suddenly waking up in scary movies. Let's build! This story starts with a LEGO boy named Jason. He loves trick-or-treating, but last year was too scary, so he will stay inside and watch horror movies instead. For this, we're building his living room. I started by making a floor along with the walls and a couple of windows. Next, we're adding the furniture like a dining table with a plant, a newspaper, and a letter. There are also 4 chairs for eating meals at the dinner table. To the left of the room, I added a bookshelf with some plates representing books, as well as a cabinet with an old TV on it. And finally, I added this couch. And now, Jason can start watching horror movies. He will watch one of my favorite horror movies, It from Stephen King. Jason grabs some popcorn and starts the movie, and after a while, he falls asleep. Then, when he wakes up, he's lying on the street with a yellow coat. Is this Georgie's coat, he thinks? For this scene, I made a street with a drain and some translucent parts as water. Jason can't believe it. He's in the movie, but that can only mean one thing. He's dreaming. He tries to pinch his arm, but doesn't wake up. Then he hears something coming from the storm drain.
Hi, Jason. Don't you want a balloon?
You're not real, are you?
Yes I am. You'll float down here, Jason.
Jason runs away and he sees a strange door. Then he hears sounds to his left.
Hiya, Jason.
Pennywise is right behind him, so he quickly goes in and now we're building the next movie. For this, we're visiting Friday the 13th. I grabbed 2 green plates and combined them. And now we're building a cabin. And I made these cool wall panels with all of the tiles and plates, which actually looks like wood. Next, I added an old door and a roof. To finish it off, I made a chimney and added it to the side of the building. So I added some bushes and a bunch of grass pieces, as well as this old pathway leading up to the stairs of the cabin. Jason walks towards the cabin and then he hears something in the bushes. So he goes into the cabin and inside we can find a closet as well as 2 beds. There is also a table with 2 stools and an old couch. Jason looks around for any clues of his whereabouts and then he hears footsteps. He puts a chair in front of the door and hides under the bed. And then Jason Voorhees kicks down the door and starts looking for Jason. He destroys one of the beds and then Jason comes out of hiding and kicks him and runs outside. He sees another door in the woods, so he goes in and now we're building the next movie. This is a reference from the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I made a small bathroom with a bathtub and this interesting green pattern on the wall. Then I finished it and added this golden faucet along with a holder for towels. And I also added a sink along with a toilet. Jason walks in and sees the bathtub and really wants to take a relaxing bath. He fills the tub with water, undresses and goes in, closes his eyes and falls asleep. But then he feels something weird and sees a glove with knives coming from underwater. Jason quickly gets out of the bathtub.
Here's Johnny.
Suddenly, a door appears behind him, so he escapes. But then he finds himself in a living room. On the right side of the room, I made a kitchen with a stove with a pan full of popcorn, which is accurate to the movie. There's also a refrigerator and a cooking island. Then I filled the rest of the room with some furniture and finally added a phone on the counter. Jason relaxes on the couch and tries to get some sleep, but then the telephone rings.
Hey, what's your favorite scary movie?
I think Halloween.
What's your name?
Why?
Because I want to know who I am looking at.
Where are you?
I'm in the living room.
Phew.
Hi, Jason.
Ghostface chases Jason around and then Jason knocks him out with a lamp. He escapes and for the next movie we're building a reference to the Halloween movie. For this I made a little front yard with a pathway in front as well as some bushes which I made by using leaf pieces from trees. There is a foundation in the back on which we're building the Michael Myers home. So for this I made the walls with all of these snot bricks and added some white tiles to make it look like wood. Then I built the porch with some fences and the support beams along with a small roof on top. For the first floor I built the walls in the same way and added a couple of windows. To finish off the build, I added the roof, and now the house is complete. Jason walks in the pathway and sees the house. He wonders if anyone is home who can help him. So he walks up to the door and knocks on it. But then Michael Myers appears with a knife and chases him around. Jason quickly escapes, and now we're building an attic room with some windows. And I added this table with the miniature of Winter River, with the big house from the movie Beetlejuice. Jason walks in and sees the model. He goes to play with it, and then he sees a piece of paper on the floor. It says Beetlejuice. Who is Beetlejuice? Is Beetlejuice even a name? I guess the juice from a beetle is called Beetlejuice. Suddenly, Jason gets teleported to a cemetery in the model. For this, I made a small hill with some stairs and 2 gravestones. I added a giant tree, and next I built Beetlejuice's grave with the skeletons and a red arrow. Finally, I made the sign with Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Jason looks at the grave, and suddenly Beetlejuice appears.
Hey, you're not a ghost, you're alive. Get out of here.
Jason enters the door, and for the next movie, we're building Texas Chainsaw. chainsaw. So I grabbed some grass pieces and yellow studs and made corn. Then I filled this entire base with corn, and with that we have a cornfield. Jason walks through the cornfield and sees corn. He's really hungry, so he grabs some corn and eats it. While eating, Jason hears some sounds coming from behind the corn. Leatherface chases Jason around with his chainsaw, and I gotta say that this minifigure looks really cool. Jason runs off and luckily sees a door. The next movie I'm building is from the popular video game series Five Nights at Freddy's. And for this, we're building the scene where Springtrap appears in the movie. I made a small arch with black pieces behind it so it looks like a dark room. And added some pizza on the floor as well as a spider web, and Jason finds himself in the security guard outfit, which looks like the one from his dad in old photos. He looks around and sees pizza, so he has to eat it. Hum nom nom nom. Ugh, it's old and moldy. Then he hears laughing and Springtrap appears. He tries to hit him with a bat. Springtrap hits Jason and all hope is lost. Just as Springtrap prepares to hit him, all of the other animatronics appear and kick some sense into Springtrap. Jason becomes friends with them and says goodbye. One of my favorite movie franchises has to be the Conjuring universe. And now we're building a scene from The Conjuring 2. My favorite scene from this movie is the nun scene in the Warren home. I built a hallway. I added a table and some creepy paintings, and now Jason walks into the hallway. Jason follows the nun and will enter the Warren's office. So I built a small room and added a desk along with a bunch of old boxes as well as some case files. On the wall, I added a painting of the nun, which is so terrifying. While looking through the office, he sees a small puzzle box and opens it. This is a small reference to Hellraiser. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Pinhead appears. Jason quickly closes the box, but then he sees a painting of the nun he saw earlier. He walks closer to it, and then when he turns his back to search for other stuff in the office, he hears movement behind him. The nun is holding the painting and runs towards Jason. Another one of my favorite movies has to be the Annabelle movie with the creepy doll. I made the nursery with a light blue wall, which we can see in the movie. Then I made a small crib along with a pink carpet, and I also added a chest with some baby stuff in there. To top it off, I added a rocking chair and this plank on which I placed two dolls and the Annabelle doll in the middle. Jason walks into the room and starts looking for toys. But then the Annabelle doll looks at him. He continues searching and suddenly she's disappeared. He hears the rocking chair moving. For the next movie, we're building Saw in Lego. For this, I made an old room with sand green parts, and I think this represents the color theme of Saw pretty well. There's a chair in the middle with Jason on it, and I made a reverse bear trap and put this on his head. For the rest of the room, I added some shelves as well as a workbench. Then I also added a TV, and now the challenge can start. Huh?
Hello, Jason. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. Find the right key in the room and remove the device on your head before the timer runs out.
Jason tries to get loose from the chair, but it falls over. Then he looks for the key, but can't find it. He has to find it before the timer runs out, otherwise he will be gone. He looks everywhere, but can't find it, and then he suddenly feels it in his left pocket. Jason removes the device and quickly escapes, and suddenly he wakes up on the couch. He sees it playing on the TV and sees a box of popcorn laying on the floor. He must have fallen asleep. That was a wild dream, or was it?